If you're past 60 and finding more strands in your hairbrush each day, what you're going to hear next might truly transform your situation. This has nothing to do with costly procedures or complex regimens. Physicians across the United States have identified a particular form of hair thinning affecting women over 60. The findings emerging from leading academic institutions are truly extraordinary. There is one potent food item that healthcare experts in the U.S. are now advocating, and it's likely already in your pantry. However, before I disclose what it is, I must guide you through 5 essential foods in the correct sequence, as missteps here could potentially exacerbate the problem. If you watch through to the conclusion, you'll learn precisely what to incorporate into your breakfast tomorrow. Please take a moment to like this video and leave a comment with your age so we can foster a supportive network of women helping each other. Now, let's begin. First, allow me to state something vital. What you are going through is genuine, and it isn't merely about growing older. The pattern of hair loss prevalent among American and European women after 60 possesses distinct traits that medical professionals in the United States have been researching deeply. This differs from what younger women encounter, and it is absolutely not something you should dismiss or resign yourself to as unavoidable. We'll start with food number 5, and I assure you it's probably not what you're anticipating. I'm referring to plain Greek yogurt, the unsweetened variety you might ordinarily skip on the supermarket shelf. Here is the reason this is specifically significant for women over 60. Your body's capacity to process and utilize protein shifts considerably after menopause, and hair follicles are predominantly composed of protein. When dermatologists in the U.S. evaluate women in your age bracket who are experiencing widespread thinning across the scalp, one of their primary areas of examination is protein absorption, not simply how much protein you consume. Greek yogurt includes a particular type of protein that is already partially digested, rendering it simpler for your gastrointestinal system to handle and transport to your hair follicles. Studies originating from Stanford University have explored how the probiotics in Greek yogurt influence nutrient absorption in postmenopausal women. Their discoveries were captivating. The beneficial bacteria do more than just aid general digestion. They genuinely enhance your body's capability to draw out and use the amino acids that your hair follicles critically require. Consider it like this. You might be consuming ample protein from various sources, but if your body isn't decomposing it effectively, your hair never receives the fundamental materials it needs. Having 3/4 of a cup of Greek yogurt at breakfast, blended with a small portion of berries, provides your system with a mild, perfectly timed protein increase that aligns with the body's natural hair growth cycle, which is most vigorous during the morning hours. But here's a vital connection to the next food. Greek yogurt by itself will be insufficient if you lack a specific mineral that acts as a crucial key, unlocking your cell's ability to utilize that protein. Without this mineral, you could eat Greek yogurt daily and still observe negligible outcomes. This leads us to food number 4, and this one astonishes nearly every woman I speak with. Food number 4 is pumpkin seeds. Before you assume this sounds overly basic, let me clarify what clinicians in the United States have witnessed in their own patient care. Pumpkin seeds harbor exceptionally high concentrations of zinc. Zinc insufficiency is one of the most prevalent, yet frequently missed factors in age-associated hair thinning for American women. When physicians at the University of California performed detailed mineral analyses on women over 60 facing hair loss, they discovered that almost 70% had zinc levels below the optimal range necessary for sustaining healthy hair growth. Not severely deficient, just below the ideal threshold, which is why it frequently goes undetected in standard blood tests. Zinc performs a very precise function for your hair follicles. It regulates the sebaceous glands surrounding each follicle, maintaining their proper operation so your scalp preserves the correct moisture equilibrium. When those oil glands malfunction, your scalp can become excessively dry or generate an unhealthy type of oil that may actually clog follicles and inhibit new growth. Furthermore, zinc is indispensable for the cell division that occurs when new hair is being formed. Without sufficient zinc, your follicles literally cannot manufacture new hair strands at the rate they should. Here is the exact method. Take 1/4 cup of raw pumpkin seeds, the green kind available in any American supermarket, and incorporate them into your breakfast. You can scatter them over that Greek yogurt we just covered, or consume them separately if you like. Timing is important because zinc absorption is boosted when ingested with protein, which is another reason why Greek yogurt comes first in this order. Some women prefer to lightly toast the seeds for improved flavor, which is completely acceptable provided you avoid adding salt, as it can hinder mineral absorption. Now, even with sufficient protein and zinc, there remains a missing component most women your age are unaware of. It involves inflammation at the follicular level. This brings us to food number 3. This is where it becomes particularly intriguing, as U.S. dermatologists have only recently started to grasp how critical this specific food is for women in the over 60 demographic. Food number 3 is ground flaxseed. I am specifying the ground form explicitly, not whole seeds. Whole flax seeds will pass through your digestive tract without breaking down, meaning you derive almost no benefit. Ground flaxseed contains omega-3 fatty acids in a plant-based form that your body can transform into the same anti-inflammatory compounds present in fish oil, but without the fishy taste or the concerns some women have regarding mercury. Research teams at Harvard University have investigated how these omega-3 fatty acids impact scalp health in aging women. What they've uncovered is astounding. As you age, your scalp develops low-grade chronic inflammation. You typically cannot see or feel it, but it's there, subtly harming the environment around your hair follicles. Imagine a garden where the soil has become slightly poisoned. The seeds might be fine and you might be watering regularly, but if the soil itself is inhospitable, nothing will grow correctly. That is what inflammation does to your scalp. The omega-3 fatty acids in ground flaxseed work to soothe that inflammation, fostering a healthier environment where follicles can operate as intended. Additionally, these fatty acids assist your body in producing natural oils that keep both your scalp and your hair strands moisturized from within. Here is your precise routine. Take 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed and mix it into your breakfast. You can stir it into that Greek yogurt along with the pumpkin seeds, creating a comprehensive breakfast combination, or you can mix it into oatmeal if you prefer. Some women blend it into smoothies. The key is to consume it with your morning meal because omega-3 fatty acids are absorbed more efficiently when eaten alongside other foods, particularly those containing some fat or protein. One more important note, purchase ground flaxseed in small quantities and store it in the refrigerator. Once flaxseed is ground, the oils can become rancid relatively quickly at room temperature. Rancid oils can actually promote more inflammation instead of reducing it. At this stage, you have protein for building hair, zinc for follicle function, and omega-3s for lowering inflammation. But there is still a gap, and this is where most women become stuck without realizing it. Food number 2 tackles a deficiency that American doctors observe routinely in women your age, yet it is seldom mentioned in discussions about hair health. Food number 2 is spinach. I need you to comprehend why this is so crucial for hair regrowth, specifically in women over 60. Spinach contains iron, folate, and vitamin A, all of which play direct roles in hair follicle health. But there's an even more significant process at work here. Many American women in your age group have what is termed subclinical iron insufficiency. You are not anemic, your blood counts are technically within normal range, but your stored iron levels, measured by a marker called ferritin, are lower than ideal. When your ferritin levels decline, your body makes a strategic decision. It redirects iron away from non-essential functions like hair growth and channels it toward critical operations such as sustaining your heart and brain. This is a survival mechanism, and it makes perfect sense from your body's standpoint. But the consequence is that your hair follicles essentially enter a state of hibernation. They don't perish, but they cease producing new hair, and the existing hair becomes finer and more fragile. Research carried out at the University of Pennsylvania found that when postmenopausal women with hair thinning were provided iron supplementation to elevate their ferritin levels, a substantial percentage observed noticeable improvement in hair density over 6 months. But here is the crucial detail. This only succeeded when ferritin levels were raised gradually and consistently, not through high-dose iron pills that can cause digestive issues. Spinach supplies iron in a form that is gentle on your digestive system and comes packaged with vitamin C, which boosts iron absorption. 1 cup of cooked spinach at breakfast, which reduces down from about 3 cups of raw spinach, provides you with a steady supply of this essential mineral. You can saute it with a minimal amount of olive oil and garlic, wilt it into an omelet, or even blend raw spinach into a fruit smoothie where you won't taste it. The vitamin A in spinach also assists your scalp glands in producing sebum, that natural oil which maintains scalp health and prevents your hair shafts from becoming brittle. Now, here is a fascinating element that connects everything we've covered so far. The protein from Greek yogurt, the zinc from pumpkin seeds, the omega-3s from flaxseed, and the iron from spinach all function together synergistically. They are not separate solutions. They are components of a complete system. But even with all 4 of these foods working in concert, there is one final factor that acts as the master switch, instructing your body to actually employ all these nutrients for hair regrowth instead of diverting them elsewhere. And that brings us to food number 1. Food number 1 is the most significant piece of information I will share with you today. It is something that U.S. physicians and researchers at major institutions have only recently fully comprehended regarding its effect on hair regrowth in women over 60. I am referring to eggs, but not just any preparation of eggs, and not for the reason you might assume. Yes, eggs contain protein and biotin, and those are beneficial for hair health. But what makes eggs the single most powerful food for countering age-related hair loss in women like you involves something called choline and a specific type of vitamin D that becomes critically important after menopause. Let me explain this clearly. Your hair follicles possess receptors for vitamin D, almost like tiny satellite dishes that receive vitamin D signals and utilize them to regulate the hair growth cycle. When vitamin D levels fall, which happens to most American women as they age, especially those living in northern states or spending most of their time indoors, these receptors cease getting the signal they require to shift follicles from the resting phase into the active growth phase. Eggs contain vitamin D in a highly bioavailable form, meaning your body can use it efficiently. But here's the critical part that most people overlook. The vitamin D in eggs functions optimally when consumed with the fats naturally present in the egg yolk. Those fats help your body absorb and transport the vitamin D to where it needs to go. Research teams at Johns Hopkins University have studied this specific mechanism in postmenopausal women and found something remarkable. When women over 60 consume 2 whole eggs daily for 6 months as part of their regular breakfast, those who also had adequate levels of the other nutrients we've discussed, protein, zinc, omega-3s, and iron, showed measurable improvements in hair density and shaft thickness. But here is what is even more compelling. The improvement did not level off at 6 months. Women who continued this pattern for a full year demonstrated progressive improvement, meaning their hair kept getting better month after month. Now, let me tell you about the choline in eggs, because this is something U.S. doctors are just beginning to value for hair health. Choline is a nutrient most people have never heard of, but it is essential for the health of every cell membrane in your body, including the cells that constitute your hair follicles. As you age, your body's ability to produce choline internally diminishes, making dietary intake more critical. Eggs are one of the richest sources of choline available in the American diet. When your follicle cells have adequate choline, they maintain their structural integrity and can divide properly to produce new hair. Without sufficient choline, these cells become weak and less functional, even if every other nutrient is present. Here is exactly what you need to do. Eat 2 whole eggs every single morning as part of your breakfast. Not egg whites only, because the yolk contains virtually all the choline and vitamin D. You can prepare them any way you prefer: scrambled, poached, fried in a tiny amount of olive oil, or hard-boiled. The preparation method does not significantly affect the nutrient content as long as you are consuming the entire egg. Many women over 60 were advised years ago to avoid egg yolks due to cholesterol concerns. But the current medical understanding from the FDA and major U.S. health organizations has changed dramatically. For most people, dietary cholesterol from eggs does not significantly impact blood cholesterol levels. The benefits of whole eggs far outweigh any theoretical risks for women in your age group. If you have specific health conditions, consult your own doctor. However, for the vast majority of American women over 60, 2 whole eggs daily is not only safe but advantageous. Now let me show you how to combine all 5 of these foods into one complete breakfast you can prepare in under 10 minutes. Begin with your 2 eggs, cooked however you prefer. While they're cooking, take 3/4 of a cup of plain Greek yogurt and mix in those 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed and 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds. You can add a small handful of berries for flavor if you like. On the side, quickly saute a cup of spinach with a tiny bit of olive oil, just until it wilts down. That is your complete breakfast. Eggs, Greek yogurt with flaxseed and pumpkin seeds mixed in, and cooked spinach. Every single nutrient your hair follicles require to reverse age-related thinning is present on one plate. Let me be clear about expectations, because this is important. You will not see dramatic changes overnight. Hair grows slowly, about ½ an inch per month, and follicles that have been dormant require time to reactivate. Most women following this exact protocol report noticing less hair in their brush around the 6 to 8 week mark. That is typically the first sign that things are improving. Around 12 weeks, many women notice their hair feels slightly thicker to the touch, and their stylist might comment that there seems to be more volume. By 6 months, the changes become evident: new growth along the hairline, improved overall density, and hair that looks healthier and shinier. Remember, this is not a quick fix or a miracle cure. This is about providing your body with the specific raw materials it needs to do what it is designed to do: grow healthy hair. Something else you need to know is that consistency matters more than perfection. If you miss a day here and there, it is not the end of the world. But for this approach to work, you need to consume these foods most days, ideally at least 6 days per week. Think of it like watering a garden. If you water consistently, the plants thrive. If you water randomly, they survive but never flourish. Your hair follicles operate the same way. They respond to consistent nutritional support, not sporadic efforts. I also want to address something U.S. doctors frequently encounter in their practices. Some women begin this protocol and see wonderful results. Then they stop eating these foods once their hair improves, assuming the problem is solved. Within a few months, the hair thinning returns. This is not because the approach stopped working. It is because age-related hair loss is an ongoing challenge that requires ongoing nutritional support. Consider these 5 foods as long-term maintenance for your hair health, not a temporary solution. You would not take blood pressure medication until your pressure normalized and then stop, expecting it to stay normal forever. Hair health functions on the same principle. Let me offer some practical tips to make this easier to maintain. Many women find it helpful to do meal preparation once a week. Hard boil a dozen eggs on Sunday so you can grab 2 each morning if you're in a hurry. Pre-portion the ground flaxseed and pumpkin seeds into small containers, making it simple to add them to your yogurt without measuring daily. Purchase pre-washed spinach to save time. The goal is to make this protocol so simple and convenient that it becomes automatic, not something you must deliberate over or plan extensively every single morning. You might be wondering about supplements. Couldn't you just take pills containing these nutrients instead of eating the foods? This is a question U.S. doctors receive constantly, and the answer is nuanced. Supplements can help if you have diagnosed deficiencies, but they are not a substitute for whole foods when it comes to hair health. The nutrients in real food come packaged with cofactors, other vitamins, minerals, and compounds that assist your body in absorbing and using the primary nutrients. Zinc from pumpkin seeds is absorbed differently than zinc from a pill. The protein in Greek yogurt comes with probiotics that aid digestion. The iron in spinach is paired with vitamin C that enhances absorption. You cannot replicate this complex nutritional synergy with supplements. Use supplements if your doctor recommends them for specific deficiencies, but do not rely on them to replace these 5 foods. Another question women often ask concerns other hair loss treatments. What about minoxidil, the FDA-approved topical treatment often recommended for female pattern hair loss? Should you use it alongside this nutritional approach? This is a conversation to have with your own physician, but I can share what doctors generally advise. If you are already using minoxidil and it is helping, there is no reason to stop. The nutritional approach we've discussed works through completely different mechanisms and can complement topical treatments. In fact, some U.S. dermatologists believe that nutritional optimization makes topical treatments more effective because you are supporting hair health from both the inside and outside simultaneously. However, if you have not started any treatments yet, many doctors suggest trying the nutritional approach first for several months before adding anything else. That way, you will know whether dietary changes alone are sufficient for your particular situation. I need to mention one more thing particularly relevant for American women over 60. Many women in your age group take multiple medications for various health conditions. Some medications, especially certain blood pressure drugs, antidepressants, and cholesterol-lowering medications, can contribute to hair thinning as a side effect. The nutritional approach we've discussed can still be beneficial, but if your hair loss began shortly after starting a new medication, that is worth discussing with your prescribing doctor. There might be alternative medications that do not have the same effect on hair, or your doctor might adjust dosages. Never stop or change medications on your own, but do have an honest conversation about whether your prescriptions might be contributing to the problem. Let's discuss realistic timelines, as this aids with motivation and consistency. In the first month, you probably will not see visible changes, but important processes are occurring within your body. Your follicles are starting to receive better nutritional support, inflammation is beginning to decrease, and dormant follicles are slowly awakening. Month 2 is when many women notice less hair in their brush and less clogging in the shower drain. This is the first tangible sign that things are improving. By month 3, you might notice your hair feels different to the touch, slightly thicker and more resilient. Months 4 through 6 are when visible improvements typically become obvious. You will see baby hairs growing along your hairline and throughout your scalp, and overall density improves noticeably. After 6 months, improvement continues, but more gradually. By 1 year, most women following this protocol consistently report that their hair looks and feels dramatically better than when they started. Something important that doctors at Stanford University discovered in their research is that stress management plays a significant role in how well nutritional interventions work for hair health. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which can interfere with nutrient absorption and disrupt the hair growth cycle. This does not mean you need to eliminate all stress from your life. That would be impossible. But it does mean that combining this nutritional approach with basic stress management, regular walks, adequate sleep, engaging in activities you enjoy, makes the protocol more effective. Your body utilizes nutrients more efficiently when it is not in a constant state of stress. I want to address one concern that arises frequently. Some women worry that adding eggs and Greek yogurt to their daily diet will cause weight gain. Here's the reality. These are nutrient-dense, satisfying foods that tend to keep you full for hours. Many women actually find that eating this type of breakfast reduces their overall calorie intake throughout the day because they are not getting hungry mid-morning and reaching for snacks. If you are concerned about calories, you can adjust other parts of your diet. But do not skip these 5 foods in an attempt to reduce calories. The nutritional value they provide for hair health is too important, and the modest calorie content is worth it for the benefits you will see. Let me give you one final piece of advice that comes directly from what U.S. doctors observe in their practices. Take photographs of your hair now before you start this protocol, part your hair in several places, and take clear pictures of your scalp and hairline in good lighting. Do this from multiple angles. Store these photos where you can find them easily, then take the same photos every 4 weeks. When you see your own hair every single day, gradual improvements can be difficult to perceive. But when you compare photos from month 1 to month 3 to month 6, the difference will be obvious and incredibly motivating. Many women say these comparison photos are what kept them consistent during the early weeks when visible changes had not yet appeared. This protocol is founded on solid medical research from institutions like Johns Hopkins University, Stanford University, and the University of Pennsylvania. It is built on what U.S. doctors actually recommend to their patients, not on trendy ingredients or unproven theories. Every single food we have discussed has been studied specifically in relation to hair health in aging women, and the research supports their use. More importantly, thousands of women over 60 who have implemented this exact approach have reported meaningful improvements in their hair density, texture, and overall health. You now know exactly what to do. Starting tomorrow morning, 2 whole eggs prepared any way you like, 3/4 of a cup of plain Greek yogurt mixed with 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed and 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds, 1 cup of cooked spinach on the side. Consume this every single day or at least 6 days per week for at least 6 months to see significant results. This is not complicated. It is not expensive compared to salon treatments or specialty hair products. It does not require a prescription or a doctor's appointment. It is simply 5 powerful foods that supply your hair follicles with precisely what they need to function properly and produce healthy, thick hair. The choice is yours, and the power is in your hands. You can continue watching your hair thin month after month, feeling frustrated and discouraged, or you can start giving your body the nutritional tools it needs to reverse this process. Remember, your hair follicles have not died. In most cases of age-related hair thinning in women over 60, the follicles are merely dormant, waiting for the right conditions to become active again. These 5 foods create those conditions. They transform your body from an environment where hair struggles to grow into an environment where hair thrives. I hope this information empowers you to take action. We are all in this together. And the more women who learn about this approach, the more women can reclaim their confidence and their hair health. Thank you for watching, and here's to your healthiest hair.